T.I., Jeezy, a lot of black celebrities, they posted a lot of stuff about that, and they post like most of the recent black persons that have been affected by white police killing them while they were unarmed. The first publicly one that we know about is Trayvon Martin. That's the first one.
Right.
And then the last one was the Aubrey guy. Like the guy was jogging and he was cornered by the two white dudes.
Yeah, in Georgia.
Like being black in America, I mean, thank God I don't live there to experience it, but being black in America right now is crazy, but like that's like modern day slavery for real, and like they ain't hiding it. They partly getting away with that crap, but
like it's like slavery isn't abolished, it's just modernized. It's just franchised now. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
They use reform systems to do whatever they have to do to really basically retain black people in impoverished areas. Like it's ridiculous. It's getting to a point where like Americans really need to come to some type of reform in terms of what, like how they can protect each other as a community. You know, it's starting to become sickening, and it's just disgusting now. Like I didn't watch the whole video, and by the way, it's R.I.P. to George Floyd family and close friends and loved ones that may be experiencing some discomfort and pain to these times right now. It's just unfortunate that like every other month we have to go through this, whether it be here locally or anywhere else in the States, because it's some form of racism everywhere in the world. Like, but it seems like it's more predominant in the States, like in the U.S. Like we see it more often than none in the U.S. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. Like I say, prayers to his family, prayers to his friends. It's a tough situation. Some people are acting out in ways that it may not be conducive to the cause, but I can't tell people how to feel. You know what I mean? People hurt differently. People hurt differently.
They kind of outraged by it. Like it happening too blatantly and it happening too often. So
yeah,
this is kind of like first response, you know?
Yes, it's like it's at a point like when is it gonna stop? It's something we've been seeing, and it's probably not gonna be the last time we see it. It's just unfortunate. Like it's just unfortunate to know that as much as we felt we'd made progress, it's always some way to show us that we're still 10 steps behind in the situation. And like I'm at the point now where I'm trying to figure out myself, like what could it be? Like what could it really be? Like what could we really do to help this process? You know what I mean? It's sad, man.
That's a tough question, because the whole thing about it is to suppress or keep blacks as the inferior race, when really and truly we are the superior race, because we've been through slavery and we still, like you said, we rise at a certain point, but situations like this, it puts us back, because that's where people want to keep us, you know. But we got to start with you being more united, more unity in terms of not killing our own kind of. Right. But I saw something about a survey or about that whites are like the white people inside America are becoming the minority now. Right. In a few years, they projected in a few years, maybe like 2045 or whatever, whites will be the minority.
To be honest with you, I never buy the notion that we are the minority in the world. Like I feel like people of color are I feel like people of color are the majority. You know what I mean? I think because they class us in society because majority, especially in the US, the majority of the black society is imprisoned or impoverished. So the numbers may be scaled off a bit. You know what I mean? But I've never bought the notion that we are the minority. I don't buy it at all. Fuck that. I don't subscribe to that at all. Trust me.
I agree.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw the mayor of Minneapolis. I think his name is Jacob Fry.
He's a black man.
No, he's
No,
white.
no. The thing is a black man. The chief of police for
Right,
yeah,
right. I was watching the press conference. The first because I think the mayor had two press conferences.
right.
I watched the very first press conference, and I gotta say, like, to me, it felt like it wasn't sincere enough to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
After watching, he basically was given, to me it felt like fake tears. After watching the second press conference, which I think was today,
Uh-huh.
it felt more sincere. It felt more like he was there with the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't necessarily agree with the protesting and loitering and stuff like that. Like, people gotta police themselves. That's not the right way to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a better way to get your point across and to get justice for George. But I can't necessarily tell people how to feel, because I know, like, as an American, you must be frustrated, especially as a black American. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm starting to see more white Americans frustrated about what's going on now. So I can only imagine how African Americans are feeling about the situation. It's terrible.
See, some of the white persons, I mean, the white people in America who are outraged by it, they have black friends, black family, because they have a lot of mixed interracial marriages and stuff like that in America now. And you have some of the generations like our age, they are not as racial as their forefathers or their ancestors before them, because they're adapting to what the world is becoming. But in the same token, you still also have those persons who are still racist. So
Right.
you're gonna have a backlash from each party. But it's crazy, man, because it's too blatant. It's just right in your face. And like, what could we do about it?
Yeah, it's getting to the point. It's getting to the point where it's like, all right, we doing it. What the fuck you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? It's sickening.
And
And it has something has to give. Like, I don't want to see the same results um that Trayvon Martin case had. I don't want to see the same results in this situation. You know what I mean? Sandra Bland, what's his name? I think the situation happened like 4 years ago in New York with oh man, I don't wanna misquote anything, but I forgot the name. Like, the same situation happened 4 years ago in New York, where same police officer strangled a guy basically on the streets in broad daylight, in the front of the you know what I mean, in the front of the public eye,
right,
and nothing came out of it. Like, basically, this is happening to citizens and African Americans, and there's nothing, like, there's no repercussion, there's no consequence for these officers or the law enforcement. You know what I mean? That's kind of sad.
but at the end of the day, like you say, if they would just take a different step or approach towards correcting the situation, then maybe, I don't know, people will hear it and feel it more. I mean, a lot of people are empathizing and sympathizing with the situation, but then they're not gonna respect it if you're gonna retaliate with violence. So
Right. I don't wanna go in circles on this, but I just think, like, people of color, African Americans especially, they need to take a bigger step towards legislation. You know what I mean? Like councilmen and the mayors of these cities and states,
Right.
they gotta hold these people accountable. You know what I mean? They gotta let them know that, hey, if I'm giving you my vote, this is what I expect. And if I don't get this, then we want you out. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just that simple. And it's the same thing as over here. You know what I mean? Because I know I'm probably gonna get killed for this. You know what I mean? By a lot of my police officer friends, but I don't feel like the police officers in the Bahamas are equipped to handle circumstances and situations like this, where it comes down to you having to subdue a suspect peacefully without there being some sort of hostile engagement. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like, to be honest with you, I feel like majority of our police officers are just trained to give out tickets and citations. Like,
um,
that's just how I feel. Like, they're not trained adequate enough to handle problem solving and like really investigating matters conducively. You know what I mean?
I agree with you because a lot of Bahamian police, the minute they join the police force, it's a sense of power now that they're now feeling. So they feel
Right,
entitled. They feel like the minute you see me, that's respect that you should give me. Which
right,
in which in is true, but respect is also a two-way thing. If you do not know a man, you will address him as sir or
yeah,
mister. Um, I can personally say that I've been in one or two predicament with some police officers, and to be honest, most of them are. But the ones I've encountered, they've been very okay, professional. Now, I personally feel as if they feel disrespected or undermined or anything like that, then they kind of show their power. But
right.
if you just comply and try not to have any smart remarks or anything of that sort, it doesn't really get out of hand. And they relate because at the end of the day, they got their friends as our friends. Their family could be our family. You know what I mean? So they know what it is that we dealing with.
Right.
But most of them, they just abuse the power. And like you
Yeah.
say, they do not know how to have a sensible conversation or deal with a situation in a sensible or in a respectful manner,
Yeah.
which it's not hard to do.
More times than none is ego. And I don't want to sit here and say I'm killing the police officers. Like, they do a good job. Shout out to the police officers of the Bahamas, but and in a lot of situations, like, they let their ego get the best of them in a situation where, like, things can be handled differently. You know what I mean?
Definitely, definitely.
But like you said, a lot of them, they are friends, they are close family members. So I don't want to kill them completely, but like I honestly feel like in a lot of situations, they can handle matters differently. So it is what it is. Like, I don't have too much else to say on that. I just like to send prayers out to the family of George Floyd and anybody else that's been affected by this whole situation. You know, like, it's a tough time. You know what I mean, for us to be dealing with this pandemic and to be dealing with situations like this. Like, we really need the community to come together worldwide. It doesn't matter if you're in the United States or if you're in the Bahamas. Like, we have to see the situation as it is. In hindsight, like, the whole world is hurting over this whole situation. You know what I mean? So
Agreed.
more times than none, we have to come together and basically try to make things work for the better. You know? But
So how do you see things? How do you see the country or the world is progressing now that I think COVID is still here, but it isn't as effective as it was in the beginning. I think it's dying down. People are recovering. It's not as much cases as it used to be. What do you think about that? How do you think we're gonna progress and change from point on?
personally, I feel like, as the Bahamas, like, I could speak for the Bahamas. I feel like we've done an exceptional job when it comes to combating what's going on with COVID.
Right.
Like the cases aren't out of hand, you know what I mean? And I feel like
Small.
we've been doing really good. So um, all it really is like to me now, I feel like we need to find a way to get the economy back to where it needs to be. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So the only way that's gonna happen, unfortunately, is opening up the country. You know what I mean? For tourism, because we've relied on it so long. It's unfortunate that we've come to rely on the powers of the outside world, but it's something we've been conformed to for so long. So like we're gonna have a stable base. It's gonna take some time, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. You know what I mean? But I feel like we're gonna draw everything back. We need to do more things like draw into technology more, maybe agriculture, maybe utilize, like I said a few times on this podcast already, maybe utilize our natural resources.
Solar
Yeah,
energies.
right. Maybe utilize our natural resources more to try and get a better sustained economy base. But I feel like we're doing a pretty good job. We just have to get some more of inventive minds, some more, you know what I mean, fresh minds into the forefront of this battle. But
We need more innovation.
yeah, more innovation for sure. Technology is in the forefront. Like we really need to jump on technology. I feel like I feel like we need to throw away with the paperwork a lot. Um,
With the government entities that we have.
yeah, it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take some time because I know like we still have a lot of like we have a lot of senior minds involved and at the forefront of all these things. So it's gonna take some time to really get that up and going.
I want to touch on the agriculture part of it, right? Like, let's just say we do incorporate that as one of our industries, right? Like, let's be honest now. How many young Bahamians you think are going to be interested in doing that?
Well,
Because bear in mind, that's going to be some hard. That's hard labor. As in the
well,
sun, that's actually working.
well, we have to incentivize them. Like everything else, tourism is glorified because it's incentivized. Like from when you were in school or we were young, we've seen the glory of either being in tourism or somewhere around it. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like we've seen the benefits from that.
Right.
We have to incentivize the generation coming forward to let them know that like there's something there's something to be gained from this. You know what I mean? It's not
Right.
just hard work. It's the same thing as if you do construction work. Like that's hard labor as well. But
But it pays well.
yeah, exactly because of the culture of because of the Bahamian culture, we see that it pays well and it benefits most people. You know what I mean? So now we have to brainwash that incentive into the generation of the I guess the newcomer.
I mean, personally, like if I personally see I can make a lucrative business from there, I don't care if it's hard work. Once the money is right, I'll do it. And I personally feel that that's a lot of younger Bahamians. Once they can make money off it, because that's just another avenue to make money. Because we still have other things that we already do here in the Bahamas to make money, but you're opening up a whole another link in the avenue where that could
Right.
be more potential income. I would definitely jump on that. I would. I definitely would.
Like
Uh,
and to be honest with you, it's so much to gain from it because we have so much natural resources. Like
exactly.
we can trade off and benefit from so many different countries and just different entities on the whole, just from our natural resources as it stands. You know what I mean? I don't shit. I forgot.
Well,
I forgot to introduce the pod. You know what I mean?
Angola.
Yeah, well, that's how it is. Welcome to episode 6. It's episode 6 of the 2 for 2 podcast. I am your host, Rivers. I'm here today with my good friend Bankz. Bankz, how you doing today, man? Like we've already went through it, but how you doing? Like how you feeling today? Everything good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Chilling. The
Right.
weather is looking good today. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The weather's been solid for a few days now. Like over the weekend is a lot of rain, but it's been pretty solid. Feeling like the summer coming back.
Summer already here, bro. It
I
hot.
don't.
It hot as hell.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like getting on the beach now.
I want them to open back the beach up though.
Huh?
Just for the. I want the beach to open back up, definitely.
They,
But
uh,
we ain't practice social distancing, they do that for sure.
I think we in. I may be mistaken, but I think we in phase 2 or phase 3 of this whole pandemic. They open up some of the southern islands, like they open up the beaches in some of the southern islands. Not here, Eleuthera, Bimini, Freeport, Abaco. Those beaches are still closed. I'm
I glad you mentioned the other islands, and my apologies to cut you off just now, but the other islands. Let's speak on that, right? Nassau is the capital of the Bahamas, and I really like the way it's situated in terms of like hurricane season. We really do avoid a lot of that craziness that comes with hurricane based on how we're situated, and I do love that. But let's think 50 to 100 years from now. If we start to deal with the other islands,
not to cut you off. We are in phase 3 of the reopening of the whole economy.
okay. But like I said, yeah, we start to invest and deal with the other islands.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know how much greater the Bahamas can be. Like we have 700 islands and keys. We don't even utilize these things to our advantage. And it's going to take people who thinking, like I say, for 50 and 100 years in advance to deal with that. Because Nassau is only so big, and everybody wants to come live here from the capital. Every other day, I'm meeting new people telling me they're from Abaco. Remember the Hurricane Dorian? It really mashed up Abaco. So a lot of Abaco persons, they're back and forth over here, at least before the pandemic. And you have persons from other islands, when they get old enough to attend the University of the Bahamas, they come here, they end up staying in the capital. So the population is growing in the capital, but the island can't get no bigger. But we have these other islands that we can really utilize and invest and do all kind of great things with them. Really and truly.
We all know the situation behind that. Why is that even a topic now in this day and age? We know. I don't want to dig too deep into it, but we know what it's all about. And this is not a political podcast by any means, but it's all done for profit and gain. We know that.
Yeah.
Like we know that the more people they could get on this island or the main island, the more I feel like the more they could advertise southern islands are more like distinct islands. You know what I mean? So it's basically all done for profit and gain. They tend to pile up everything on these 4 islands, mainly Nassau, Freeport, Bimini, and they tried to alleviate some of the other islands for what they want to do. For we ain't gonna speak on that, but we know what it's all about. I mean, for those who inform of the Bahamas, they know.
Right.
It's sad, but it is what it is. Like, I'm over it. Fuck it.
I have this one question, right? And this just like people like Sabas, Flowers, Adrian Fox, right? Question for you.
Name dropping?
If they
You name dropping?
No, I'm saying like yeah, like these are big money guys, right? In the Bahamas now, right?
Allegedly.
There's some of them, right? Yeah. Allegedly, right? Yeah. Or who the public knows about, right? Let's just say if they were to go into politics, and like you say, this is not a political podcast, but do you think if those 3 guys or even one of them were to go into politics, because I personally feel like they have their own money. And don't get me wrong, everybody still want to make more money. But do you think that their intentions for the Bahamian people would be more genuine than the politicians that we have now?
I feel so. I feel so, especially from what I've seen with Sabas. Well, Adrian. I, I don't want to be the name dropper, but
Right.
especially from what I've seen personally from him, Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would be less of a sole intent than for the politicians. Like I mean, and that's basically with any government. I don't feel like any government. That's just me, my opinion. I don't feel like any government is really
Right.
there to protect the people. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree.
Rather than for their sole interest and cause. So for me, I feel like it's a system that they go into. You know what I mean? So the intent might be different from the individual, but once they get into the system, and the
They have
system,
to abide.
yeah, like you already see how the system is coordinated, then yeah, you have to abide. You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying to you, if I'm already a man of power for politics, I don't need your system. I don't have to respect or abide by that because I already have my own power in terms of wealth. You feel me?
Me personally, I wouldn't jump into politics then. I would use my power to gain control of the government. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't dive into politics myself. That would be basically suicide.
I guess
Because
so.
how I look at it, no matter where it is, no matter where you are in the world, it's still a system you're going into. So no matter the intent of the individual, like you still have to go into the system and reform. So me personally, I wouldn't, if I had the power that they have, I wouldn't dive into politics.
And they do, and like they probably, that's why they probably are not doing it, but they do their own little give back to the society in terms of like back to school, maybe Thanksgiving, the big bang. Well,
Right.
yeah, like they do their part in terms of giving back to the society.
Right.
And it's way more than, and what's funny about that is, right, since they've started doing it on a public scale, right? A public scale. I haven't heard or known about any like politicians even doing anything close to it, or even coming together and doing something better like that for the society. The only time you see politicians do any kind of thing for the communities is when it's time to be voted.
Election. Me personally,
It's not right, man. Come on, really?
To be honest with you, I haven't seen the MP for my constituency since she's been elected. To be honest with you, it's like we already know from as a child. Like if you pay attention to it, like you see the situation. The only time you see them, like you said, the only time you see them come around is when it's time for election, when it's time for the votes, and that has to change. Like we as the Bahamian people need to hold them more accountable. Instead of voting for a party just because my mom or my dad or my family was PLP or FNM, now I'm going to vote for FNM. We should look at the individual. Look at what the individual is bringing to the table in terms of what they have set for our community. And if they don't abide by that, then they're not going to get our vote. You know what I mean? We have to hold them accountable. That's something we don't do. We look at parties and we look at, you know what I mean, the whole politician realm and try to, okay, the PLP didn't do what we have to do, didn't do what we wanted them to do. So now let's get the FNM in and hope that they do the same thing. You know what I mean? Or hope that they do something different. And it end up being the same thing every year, like every 5 years. It's ridiculous.
And you know what's crazy?
By the way, shout out to Adrian and Sabas and Flowers and all those guys that really putting their hand in the community and helping out. Basically, anyone that's helping out in the community, you know what I mean, trying to make things better and trying to make a difference in the community. Yes, we
Yeah,
appreciate you guys.
shout out to them. But like I was saying, what is really crazy to me, and sometimes it slips my mind, or it's not an everyday thought of mine, but we do have a lot of people in the Bahamas who are highly stricken by poverty, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's like sometimes I ride through the urban areas, but we grew up off of East Street in the urban area, so we're familiar with it. But like I said, because I don't see it every day, it is not an everyday thought of mine. But when I do see it, I like, wow, like we still have people that are just struggling like really hard, bro. Like
I mean,
it's crazy.
I feel you on that, but some of it we have to take accountability towards ourselves. Like
What do you mean the individuals who live in those areas?
yeah, some of it like I know impoverished areas, it's somewhat of a norm in the Bahamas, but
Right.
we really have to take accountability towards ourselves in situations where the mindset has to change. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I feel like a lot of individuals, and I feel like the culture in the Bahamas as a whole is taught. Well, from young you've been taught to go to school, get good grades, get a good job, work hard, probably buy a house or a piece of property, and you know what I mean, live your life. But like we've never been taught in the way of ownership. We've never been taught to invest our money properly. We've never been taught the benefits of real estate. We've never been taught the benefits of not just only a savings, but investing in different businesses and investing in different incomes, like 3 to 4.
Multiple.
Yeah, multiple incomes is a source of wealth. You know what I mean? It can it can bounce you further in the direction the way you want to be in life in terms of financial freedom. We've never been taught that. And I don't blame it. I don't blame it solely on the individual as much as I blame it on the culture. So
or our ancestors, the ones before us.
right, once we've been strained out of that mindset, out of the mindset of just working and just going on the job and striving
That's
for
Babylon. That's the Babylon
yeah,
system.
yeah, just that whole system lifestyle of you know what I mean, of creation. Like once we've strained past that and realized that hey, multiple sources of income, um, savings, what's it called, real estate, and investing in different properties and things like that can propel us in the right direction. Then we'll be on a better path, because sometimes, let's be honest, and we've seen it with some of our peers. Like they'll spend 15 to 16,000, maybe even 20,000 in a car, and don't have a piece of property or don't have a business for themselves.
I agree.
So we invest in the wrong things. You know what I mean?
We want to show our money. We want to show our friends and peers, hey, I'm making more than you.
Yeah, but it's part of how we've been raised. Like black people, basically, or people of color, has, because of our really suppression, the only way we show our wealth, or the only way we show we're above society, is to purchase the lavish things, or to, you know what I mean, really splurge on what we own.
I kind of agree on that, and then it's kind of it goes back. Like we don't want to get too deep on that because that's a lot. But what I'm saying, it also goes back to like our ancestors. Let's just say like the kings back in Egypt. Back in the day, they used to walk with all kind of gold and jewelry and all that. So that was just a part of the culture, and excuse me, some part of it, I guess, stayed with us.
But you have to understand, they did it because of ownership. They did it because of what they had. You know what I mean? They didn't wear jewelry because of, well, it was a part of status. It was a part of
Right.
status, but it was more of a collective of, okay, I've worked this hard to sustain this level of status in society. This is what I have. You know what I mean? We tend to do that backwards. We work hard. We work hard to sustain things that don't really show our status, but it helps our confidence. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it does.
yeah, like the Gucci watches and the Gucci shoes and the Gucci bags, like that really only helps our confidence. You know what I mean? In society that don't really show our status of wealth. You know what I mean? We kind of hustle backwards. We put ourselves in positions to not move forward, but to move backwards in terms of what we purchase and what we invest our money in. Like, I don't want to go in circles on that, because we could talk all day about that, but that's kind of what it is.
But what I want to do, or what I want to educate or enlighten the generations beneath us and the generations coming up, what we should do is learn to create generational wealth. That's what you're saying.
Right. That's important.
Leave stuff here for our children to have, because I personally feel like, and like you say, you don't want to go in circles, and I don't want to bring up something old, but I personally feel like that's what most of the politicians do. Yeah. They make sure that, hey, I'm put in this position of power, and I don't want to get crucified for this neither. If I could steal, or if I could back pocket some change or some money, or backdoor some money, I'm gonna do that, and that's gonna be set aside for my children and their children and their children.
It's just go ahead.
It's just I agree with the generational wealth. I feel like we should focus on that, like you say, multiple incomes, and just take our mind out of the flashiness of life.
Yeah, it's just a thing of like I saw an interview with Dame Dash before, and he said something very profound. Like, he doesn't hustle for his first name, he hustles for his last name. And
right.
When you look at it in that sense, like, you're not just doing things and putting things in place for yourself or for the present moment, but you're doing it for the future. You're doing it for the generation that's beyond you. You're doing it for your kids. You're doing it for your family members that have not yet put themselves in positions that you have. So once we realize that, and once we try to make that a staple in what we do, because like I said the other day, I think the Asian dollar stays in its community for 28 days. The Jewish dollar stays in its community for 18 days. You know what I mean? The Indian dollar stays in its community for 20 days. Why is it in the Black community our dollar only stays in its community for 6 hours? It's because we spend with everyone else instead of spending with one another. Instead of building with one another. That's something we don't do. That's something we need to look at. But
that comes with a lot though. That comes with like even like how some Black business owner persons don't even, let me not say don't even, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to point on anybody or blackball anybody, but customer service, or know how to treat the customer, or know how to communicate, and
now look, I can be honest with you. Bankz. It's only because we are the only people that are colorblind. Everyone else, like we try, and that's the same thing with this, George. Like, I'm sick and tired of Americans and Black Americans trying to feel like they're equal with these people. Like, they are never going to see you as their equal. No matter what, no matter how many basketball you bounce, how many championships you win, they are never going to see you as their equal. And so as a society, we tend to be the only set of people that are colorblind. Like, everyone else sees color besides us. Because if you're selling a chain, let's say you're selling a gold pendant for 50 cents, right?
Right.
And you have a competitor that's an Asian that's selling that same gold pendant for 50 cents, right? You could say you could drop your price to another Asian and say, well, hey, come with me. I will sell you this pendant for 25 cents rather than what your counterpart is selling this pendant for 50 cents. I would sell you this for 25 cents. You know what they're gonna tell you? No. And it's not because they're not gonna work with you because you're selling the product cheaper. They're not gonna work with you because of that. It's because you are not them. You're not one of them. They would rather give that extra to one of them, to their own. You know what I mean? Instead of working with someone else or working with, and it's okay to be like that sometimes. You know what I mean? For the betterment of the community.
But Asians are they are one race, but they go anywhere in the world and they stick together.
They stick together because they you know why they understand the dynamics of global economics. See, that's something that's something we aren't taught in our communities. That's something we aren't taught in schools because in Asia, like they teach you how to own businesses. They teach you how to go around the world and profit and gain. That's not taught over here. That's not taught in basically in the majority of the Western Hemisphere. And our curriculum is not taught like to really understand what it is to capitalize off economics.
They just teach us to survive or
socialization. That's all school is. Socialization. School is just basically there to teach you how to think like everyone else, how to think, act, and behave like everyone else. That's socialization. That's all it is.
Babylon system. Yep. They don't want you to come out of that.
That's all it is.
But like you saying about like we have a lot of millionaires here in the Bahamas, you know, like a lot of millionaires here in the Bahamas.
Fuck it, I don't talk about the NBA. NBA coming back.
But they won't have any fans to physically watch them. It's gonna be on TV.
That's all right. I miss sports. I mean, that's a horrible way to segue into our next session of the pod. But yeah, like I miss sports, man. I don't know how you feel because I don't know if you're an avid sports watcher like me. And
I'm a highlight reel kind of guy. I get the highlights of the next highlights.
I be in the game.
So this is what I'm trying to understand, right? I understand they want to get the season back on, but if there's no fans, why would the NBA even be okay with it? How are they going to make their money?
All right, see how it goes.
From viewers?
Let me try to get you to understand. Okay, they have a revenue with local TV broadcasting.
Right.
So how that works is the players have an agreement with the NBA and the association, whereas they get a percentage out of the local TV deals. How many games are shown on local TV, and what's it called? Like televised games, like like games that are broadcast worldwide, like TNT and you know what I mean? ESPN games, right? So 10% of that goes to the players. Now, because the NBA hasn't reached 70 games, like in order for the local TV to be able to profit from those margins, they have to play 70 games. Each team has to play 70 games in order for each local broadcast to unlock their percentage of whatever it is, whatever TV revenue they get.
Right.
They haven't played 70 games yet. I think the least amount of games a team has played is 64 games a season. So they would have to play, each team would have to play at least 6 more games in order for local TV to make their money. Now the 10% that the players would get is already gone because of this pandemic. Like they can count that as a loss.
Okay.
So now it's all up to TV revenue. Now, if TV can get their revenue, if they can be able to gain and profit from local broadcasting, then they can still sustain salaries for next year. Because a part of how players get their salary is through the numbers that broadcasting or local broadcasting gets. You know what I mean? So as much people tune in locally, that will pay a weight on how players are paid in upcoming seasons. So
I don't even speak about players though. I'm talking about the guys who own the teams and the stadiums. Like they're not making those money from the ticket sales though.
Yeah, they're not gonna make it. They're not gonna make the money. But in terms of future, like they have to sustain a level of revenue for TV broadcasting. Like that's the most important thing. Like players in a sense, and team owners in a sense have already lost. Like they could count this season as a scratch. But but if they want to help revenue, or if they want to help salaries for the upcoming seasons, they have to try and make some revenue off of whatever games is left for local TV and live broadcasting on globally. So once they reach 70 games, once each team reaches 70 games, they can have a level of sustainability in terms of how they make money from local broadcasting. I guess that's why they're still trying to get the season going on.
Yeah, but Disney World should be hyped.
It's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be bittersweet. Like seeing the playoffs without fans is gonna be something none of us has experienced before. But I'm up for it, especially knowing that the Lakers gonna be in the finals.
The finals. They
that's happening.
Finals.
Yeah, that happening. I know.
Lakers.
Yeah, bro. That happened.
Lakers and them.
Probably, I would say the Bucks or maybe the Celtics, depending on how they play the last few games of the season. How you feel? How you feel about them bringing all 30 teams back? Like, you feel they should bring all 30 teams back, or just the teams that are in the playoffs right now?
I think that's playoffs.
That's playoff teams?
I mean, but then I feel like they should only do playoff teams, but then the other guys can want to run as well, but it's too late for that, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It is too late.
I like Tingham since he came back. I like Melo since Melo came back. I like Melo, but Melo nice.
But Portland 3 games out of the playoffs, so they might not even make it, to be honest.
I hope they do, man. Between him and Damian, Damian's a beast now. I like his game.
It depends on
Melo, so he's doing good.
It depends on the format they run. I heard they were thinking about a 6-game regular season, and then after that, the teams that are out of the playoff are going to play in some set tournament, and whichever few teams are the best in that tournament will be the 7 and 8 seeds in the East and the West Conference. It could be that.
Oh, okay.
It could be that, or they could go for the best 16 teams in the league and just run the playoffs like that. So it really depends on how they decide to take this. How you feel about Disney World?
Disney World making money, but not now from the pandemic, but we all know any deal that's going to be made is going to be beneficial on both ends. So it's definitely for Disney to get some cut out of the profits anyway. They gotta break them off. But I think Vegas would have been more hyped though. I would like it in Vegas.
Yeah, I still think Vegas is a high risk. That's why.
Really for the COVID.
Yeah, I don't think Orlando is high risk as Vegas, and you know what I mean? Vegas would be hype. It would be good, but I think it's high risk. That's why they didn't choose that. They was thinking about too. That would have been really good.
That would have been great fun.
Yeah,
That would
for
be great.
us. Yeah, it would have been really good exposure and all that. But yeah,
Yeah.
we got some music we gonna get into. I don't know if you into that, but I got some music. Um, you've been listening to any music
I think Lil Baby running the rap game right now. I just want to say that.
in terms of what?
Lil Baby, he dropped the most songs. He dropped the most songs hits from anybody since this pandemic start. You know what? Even dropping much music does it.
Hits?
Okay, he dropped. He just dropped the My Turn deluxe album. We paid like couple. Is music still popping, bro? Even Lil Wayne said it. Lil
Yeah,
Wayne comment and say he think he's the next go to he's the next one up or whatever.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Like Lil Baby is one of my favorite artists right now. Um, in
Yeah.
terms of dropping, I don't think he dropped the most music. His album is really great. But he ran in competition in the pandemic with the Baby in terms of
Yeah.
who've been releasing records during this pandemic. To me, I feel like Lil Baby is a better artist, of course, but like he still have stiff competition in terms of who's been still releasing music or records at this time. Young M.A. had a EP. She dropped an EP this, I think, last Friday. I didn't listen to it yet. I don't know if you did.
No, I haven't listened to Young M.A. in a minute.
We scratch that.
I listened to one or two songs from Dirk album. Dirk, I like Dirk to an extent. You know, some like if you have an album, at least 2 or 3 songs of his album can catch my attention. Like, but I like this. I can play this on repeat or whatever.
Dirk is really underrated in terms of making music, like making rap songs for women.
He diverse. He diverse
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, like I could put him on a level where his like his feature game, because he's a really good feature artist.
Yeah.
And in terms of making music that appeal to women, he really good with that as well. Like he's a trap artist, but his women shit, like his women shit, that's really good. I ain't gonna lie to you. Ghana had a project drop Friday. You listen to that?
I really can't understand Ghana that much, to be honest with you. I don't really listen to Ghana.
Really, really great artist. Like one of my favorite artists right now in hip hop. Yeah, for me, like he have to diversify his game. Like his music sounding the same. It's sounding the same, and that's something would turn me off from him and the Baby. Like they really great artists, especially Gunna. He's a really good rapper, but like they using the same drum lines, the same melody. Like you gotta switch it up. For me, you gotta switch it up. I gotta hear more than that. I didn't really go too deep into the album. There's too much songs for me to give a deep dive. But like from what I heard, sounds the same.
Nah, I saw a meme. I saw a meme. I think I sent a meme. I sent a meme in our group about Lil Wayne and Jay-Z, right?
Mm.
Yeah, we spoke about that. Yeah, we spoke about that. But let's speak about that here. Because I sent that in another group that I'm in, my Butler's group.
Right.
And well, my Butler's group have a little bit much older guys in it, so I feel as if their opinion was kind of biased. But Jay-Z has produced Rihanna and Kanye West. Lil Wayne has produced Nicki Minaj and Drake.
Let's set the record straight. Kanye and Rihanna are signed to Jay-Z, the Rock Nation. Kanye, I think Kanye out of his deal now with Rock Nation. I'm not sure, but I think he signed with Def Jam. Wayne signed Drake and Nicki. Let's just put that out there for the people that are listening so they would understand and really navigate what we're trying to say. Now you could go ahead with what you were about to say.
Well, my opinion may also come off as biased because me personally, and I don't want to get you up for this. I don't think Jay-Z is no best rapper or was it. I think he's highly.
Oh,
Hold on. I think he is
oh,
highly overrated, my brother. Highly overrated.
oh.
That's how I feel. I feel like the man is highly overrated. He's
Hey,
a great businessman, but
listeners,
lyrically inclined, I don't think that guy all that.
listeners out here, just a disclaimer. This is Bank's opinion on this matter.
Right?
Like, to me, Jay-Z is the best rapper alive.
Why? Why?
To me, he isn't my favorite artist, but
Right.
right, like in terms of diversity, in terms of longevity, so you have to look at his discography and body of work. Like Jay-Z he's an artist that plugs himself in at various times in the game. Like he doesn't have to stay relevant for about 3 to 4 years, and whenever he steps in the game, like he gains that attention. So to me, that sets him apart from so many other rappers, and from his first album to his last album, the distinction in his rap, the distinction in his legacy has been the same. You know what I mean? From Reasonable Doubt to 444, it's like you can tell the growth in each one of his records and each one of his projects that he put out. It's like, to me, it's bar none. It's no debate.
Now, let me say in the past, maybe 4 or 5 years, when he is jumped on a feature, he tears it up, and he also speaks about some of the same stuff. But we're talking about like the black being inferior or suppressed. He speaks about some of those things. He speaks about some of the issues that they have in America. He incorporates it into some of his music. And he speaks about black owned and generational. He speaks about these things.
Listen to the journey of his rap. Like, go back to Reasonable Doubt. You would hear him speaking more of what he went through in Marcy projects and growing up, and how he became who he became in the rap game and basically in the dope game. And then you'd hear him speak about like that partying lifestyle, like spending money, and as he progressed in his life and in his career, you would hear his music change. Now he's more of a family man. Now he's more of a putting back into the community. Now he's more of investing in himself and investing in his future. And you hear it in his music. So
right,
like when you speak about great rappers, you have to put all of that into context. When you speak about an artist like Jay-Z, that's why I say.
See, you're speaking. I feel like a part of you speaking on Jay-Z the man, not just the rapper.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
But when you speak of his music, you have to incorporate who he is as a man, because he puts that in his music.
That's true.
To me.
That's true.
So his discography is like no other. Like a Pac. Like, to be honest, you would see the distinction. Let's say if Pac was alive, and I don't want to be that person that really go on what ifs. But if Pac was alive, you probably would have seen the progression in his music as he grew older.
I'll tell you one thing. If Pac was alive, he'd be embodying Jay-Z. I can tell you that much.
Well, Pac has his place in the rap game. No one can take that from him. But in terms of right now, who I feel like was one of the best rappers, like really the Godfather game, is Jay-Z. Now, when you want to speak about lyricism, and like you have artists that are better than him lyrically.
Good. I'm glad you said that. Thank you. That's all I want to make clear.
Personally, me, I feel like Kanye is a better lyricist than Jay-Z. But he isn't a better artist to me than Jay-Z. Of course, he's one of the best producers of all time. But In terms of,
Why is he not a better artist if he's more lyrically inclined? And he's
because,
more diverse. He's more
because of,
diverse.
because of discography, like I said, like you could look at the process of Jay-Z's music and see, like you could, if you've been there from Reasonable Doubt, you've been through that journey with him, you can tell where he's come from Reasonable Doubt to Blueprint, the Blueprint 1, the Blueprint 2, to the Black Album, to 444, to Holy Grail. Like you can see the distinction in which his music has derived. You know what I mean? To me, I haven't seen no artist done it like he has. In terms of that, like Kanye has given us diverse music, but
Right.
for me, Kanye is like Kanye. I could put Kanye in terms of an artist, I can put Kanye in the league of Lil Wayne, because both of them they have went into genres that no other artist dared to go into. Like Kanye touched.
Drake and want to do other. Well, he can want to do other genres besides rap. Not
Right.
rock or country, but
Right. Like Lil Wayne has touched on rock. He's touched on. I guess even a part of. Yeah, he touched on rock music. He touched on different genres, and basically same thing with Kanye. He's tried the R&B, the 808 Heartbreaks. He's touched on he's doing gospel music, so he's gone into different genres. But like you really can't follow the journey, their journey, as much as you can follow the journey of Jay-Z. That's where.
So let me ask you. You think so? Like I said, so you think Jay-Z is a better artist than Lil Wayne?
That's tough. That's tough for me to answer that. I wouldn't say better artist. Or profound. I wouldn't say better artist, but because, like I said, like Lil Wayne, he's been a part of the mixtape game. He's been a part of R&B. He's been a part of rock. Like we've never seen no artist jumped into different genres of music and just dominate like how he has. And you also have to look at his longevity in the game as well.
But he's a young vet.
Yeah, boy, that's tough. That's
so
tough.
What would comparing Kanye to Drake?
In terms of what?
Who's the better artist?
It's tough to say who's the better artist. Like, in
Who's
terms.
Who was harder? I feel like Drake way more harder.
Drake, of course. Drake.
I don't mean presently. I mean
Drake is the hottest rapper in the game right now. Despite others' numbers, he is the hottest rapper in the game.
For like 2, 3 years, 4 years, easy.
Yeah, for 10 years, I would give him a 10-year span.
Okay. That's so, to make clear.
Yeah, so I like it's hard to say who's the better rapper. You know what I mean? Both of them have their strengths and weaknesses, but I can't just go off who's hot in terms of that. Like both of them are diverse in their own way.
So this still sounds like a tight battle between the two goats and what artists they brought us.
Who two goats? No,
Jay-Z.
No, to me, like I said, when you look at the post, let me see if I get. I think
you spoke on Kanye and Rihanna being more successful outside of music.
Yeah, let me see if I could find the post so we could read it off for the people at home. Let's try to be a little bit clear for them to understand. Okay, which of these goats snapped harder with artists they brought us? When I read that, it spoke to who benefited more in music as opposed to who they signed. Now, under Lil Wayne, they had Nicki Minaj, of course, and Drake. Under Jay-Z, they had Rihanna and Kanye. To me, inside of music, in terms of numbers, in terms of billboards, in terms of awards, Nicki Minaj and Drake takes that category. Now, if we look at outside of music, what those artists have done in terms of investments, in terms of financially, then we gotta give that to Rihanna and Kanye.
But that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about music. They ain't talking about outside endeavors.
That's why I give the edge to Lil Wayne, because his artist has done more in music than, and that's not to take away from Rihanna and Kanye, because they are phenomenal artists. You know what I mean? That's not to take away, but in terms of what people look at in music, Billboard charts and #1 entries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Drake, you got to give it to Drake and Nicki.
I feel like Jay-Z's, one thing I don't like that Jay-Z did. Well, shout out to Jay-Z. Big ups to Jay-Z I respect him for helping Meek Mill out with his court situation. I respect the fact that he raised $15 million to put on a trust fund for Nipsey Hussle kids.
Yeah.
He helped Lil Uzi Vert. So I respect him as a man. Personally, I do. I don't think he's the great. I don't think he's the greatest, but I respect him as a man. That's some real man stuff to do. You know, I respect that to the fullest. Shoot, I lost my train of thought there.
Yeah.
What is it?
Jay is the greatest.
No.
Yeah, in terms of the pillow he set in the game and the blueprint he's gave, like a lot of artists can benefit from what he's done, not just in music but outside of music.
Oh, this is what I was saying. Sorry, I don't like how he blackballed Chris Brown after that situation with Rihanna. That's what I was going to say. I don't appreciate it. Because Chris Brown, the nigga underrated, bro. He's great, but he's still underrated.
Hey, and I wanted to have some conversations tonight about, but we could get into that in another podcast because I feel like we're going over time anyway. Right. You watch any of the battles, any of the versus battles? We didn't last week. It would be remiss if I didn't mention. I think week before last battle with Nas and Ludacris. It was a really good. Yes. Yeah, sorry about that. Nelly and Ludacris. It was a really great battle. I don't know if you saw it. You saw it?
I heard about it from you, big guy.
I didn't get a chance to watch it live. I saw it on YouTube. It was besides the technical difficulties in the beginning, like it was just great to really see one of hip hop's legends, well, two of hip hop's legends come together and celebrate their music together, what they've really done over 20 years of some sort. But it, besides the technical difficulties in the beginning, it was great. It was a great battle. I had Ludacris winning it from the break. Like, I was a big fan of Nelly in the beginning, but I feel like Ludacris had more. He had more bangers.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
To me, Nelly have more commercial hits. But when I didn't know, to be honest with you, I didn't know the women were fucking with Luda like how they were. Like the women in that live, they was on Luda. They was Team Luda. Like I said, Nelly had more commercial hits. Like he had more, I would say, just commercialized hits. But Luda had better features. Like the quality of his music, he had more bangers, more club anthems, and it was just like Luda's son them, boy. To be honest with you, Luda.
At one point, Jay-Z said this, boy. Only niggas moving units is M, Pimp, Juice, and us.
Yeah.
Like you. So that's what Nelly wrote.
But
if he let you know what it is, Jay-Z let you know, boy, these niggas, I'm telling you, ain't making no sense.
Yeah, but
Only
that
us, Eminem, and Nelly right now making
yeah,
sense, bro.
yeah, but that's in terms of commercializing the whole numbers thing. Like to me, you know how I feel about numbers in music. Like that don't make you an artist. That don't make you to have good music.
Right.
Just because you top in the Billboard charts, to me, like I don't really go off numbers when it comes to who's a better artist. But it was a good it was a good battle. I can't go too deep into it because you ain't watch it. You
Right.
watched how about the 112 Jagged Edge?
I haven't watched any of the battles. I tried to listen to the Jagged Edge 112, but it wasn't. It didn't grasp my attention.
Yeah, the sound quality was poor to me.
But
So,
the bounty killer and the Beanie Man, right?
woo,
I didn't watch it neither, right? But I heard one or two comments, and I heard bounty killer, body Beanie Man
nah, nah,
destroyed him.
I ain't rolling with it. Hold on, let me look at who won this. I I felt like Beanie. I felt like Beanie smoked him.
That's a matter of opinion, then, because
I from what I watched, I felt like Beanie smoked him. And just to be honest with you, like to me to me that's like they embodied what a versus battle should be. That was the energy, the excitement, the like it was just like none other. The only live I could feel that was close to like that was I guess Babyface and Teddy Riley, or, or maybe Neo and John Tate. But other than that,
Neo and who?
John Tate, John Tate Austin. I don't know if you saw that, but that was a real good battle. I'm trying to look at the scores. I'm trying to find the scores. So excuse me if I'm a little off. But I'm just trying to get the scores on this battle. I don't even know if they scored the battle correctly. I'm just trying to get a sense of who win.
I just want to ask you, do you even know who won? Because then, like, but you give me your opinion. You tell me, say, body, I mean, Beanie Man did this thing, but
Yeah,
I heard comments saying even a blind man can see bounty killer kill him. So I don't know.
I had it close. I had it close like till about 8 song, like to the 8th round. I had it like tied. But like they went live, like they started to sing their songs live at one point, and Benny was just bodying him. By any means, Benny was bodying him. Whatever
So
song they,
in that part of it, when he went live,
huh?
okay,
Yeah, I felt like that's what I said. Like I felt like they were tied up to that point. Like I felt like at the eight, I think they went live at the 8th round, and after that, yeah, Benny killed them.
you think Jamaican artists make close to the same amount of money as American artists?
I don't know.
Hell no.
I don't know. That ain't
Hell
even in terms of the outside market, like that might be the case. In terms of like if they go, let's say they go
Europe.
Europe, right. Yeah, I feel like they could stem or they could make as much as American artists, but other than that, they don't make as much as American
Because
artists.
I heard even old Sean Paul, he making some good money in Europe. When they go to Europe, I don't know, the Europeans love them, boy.
See,
Europeans love them.
Billboard has the victory as tied. So the two of them, they went tied. Like I said, I felt like up until the 8th round, like I had them going tied, and I felt like Benny set them off after they went live, but Billboard has them as tied. So I guess that's how it went. Yeah, like I said, American, like in upcoming years, I could see Jamaican artists starting to fortune more in the United States in terms of music. But I feel like their market is more Europe.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, I don't know if you get anything else.
No, sir. It was a good podcast tonight. It was only me and Rivers tonight.
Uh, Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties again, but that's the business of it. Appreciate it, but it was a good podcast, like I said. Next time, hopefully, we could dive into a lot more topics. But other than that, it was great. Appreciate everyone.
We can try and work on a female, like you say, next time too. You know, from a female's perspective on certain things.
You feel like we really need that? I feel like.
I feel like if we get it, it would be good. It don't have to be every podcast, but once or twice, every now and again, a female can pop in and share our views on certain things. That's why we can get into some topics like that are kind of sexist, male versus female kind of thing.
We could though. We could just be misogynistic. We could.
Yeah. So we can do that and see.
Yeah, but I guess we could feel it out. Yes, that's for the viewers to help us decide as well, I guess. But other than that, great pod, man. I guess, like I said, thankful for all viewers, everybody that watch us on YouTube. Right now, through the pandemic, we're doing this virtual podcast, Zoom podcast, a Zoomcast. But we'll be going live as soon as we're able to. Trust me, we have a lot of things installed. Just want to thank everyone for supporting us who have been so far. Just continue to keep us in our prayers, in your prayers. Everybody who's out there on the forefront, I'd like to shout out all the essential workers. Everybody that's affected in this hard time. Our prayers are with you. We are here for you. We're going to keep you in our prayers continuously. Yeah, man, we're just appreciative and grateful for everything that's afforded to us. Like I said, it's been a great pod, guys. See you guys in the next episode. And that's it. Fuck it.
It's been a pleasure.
Fuck it, nigga. Yeah.
Be Gucci.
Yo.